Jessie, and welcome to the Happiness Hippie podcast. Today we are exploring a concept that feels both ancient and incredibly urgent in our modern world. We are looking at how thoughts shape your life and the one force that changes everything. Often, when we talk about changing our lives, we look toward the horizon. We think about the next promotion, the next relationship, or perhaps a change in our physical health or appearance. We search for happiness in the places we can touch and see. But there is a persistent whisper, a nudge that keeps pointing us in a different direction. It points us inward, toward the landscape of our own minds and the quality of how we love. I am joined today by the Happiness Hippie to talk about this inner journey. We are going to dive into the idea that love is not just a feeling that happens to us, but a radical choice we make with our thoughts.
An absolute pleasure to be here, Jessie. You know, we often treat love as if it is a seasonal weather pattern that blows through our lives. We wait for it to arrive, or we mourn when it seems to have moved on. But what we are discussing today is love as a way of being. It is a steady flow of empathy, tolerance, and kindness that we choose to let move through us. This is not the romanticized version of love we see in movies. It's much more grounded than that. It is the kind of love that listens when it wants to interrupt. It is the kind of love that chooses to forgive when it would be easier to hold a grudge. It is rooted in our thinking.
That feels like a significant shift in responsibility. If love is a stance we take rather than a feeling we wait for, then we have a lot more agency than we realize. But it feels difficult because the world around us is so loud. It feels like we're constantly being pushed toward fear or comparison. How do we find that clarity when the noise is so constant?
You're right, the world does feed on the vision. Our senses are bombarded with reasons to be outraged or afraid. This noise acts like a cloud that fractures our inner truth. We start to feel like victims of our circumstances or even victims of our own emotions. The remarkable gift we have, the one thing that remains ours regardless of the external noise, is the ability to choose what we think. That single choice, when we repeat it daily and practice it with intention, becomes the ground where love can actually grow. It is the only place where true change begins.
I love the idea of the mind as a lens. If the lens is dirty or cracked, everything we see through it is distorted. You mentioned that our thoughts create the world we see, but you also clarified that this isn't about avoiding reality or just thinking positive. Can you explain that distinction?
It's an important distinction to make. This isn't about wearing rose-colored glasses or pretending that pain doesn't exist. It's about engaging with reality wisely. When we recognize that we are the thinker of our thoughts, we create a small space between ourselves and our reactions. In that space, we realize we are not our fear. We are not our anger. We are the witness to those things. From that place of awareness, we can start to ask better questions. We can ask ourselves, what story are we telling in this moment? We can ask if a thought is helpful or if it is harmful. We can even ask the most transformative question of all, which is, would love think this way?
That question, would love think this way, feels like a powerful internal compass. It seems to move the conversation from the abstract into something very practical.
Exactly. And it allows for love to be more than just nice. Sometimes love is fierce. Sometimes the most loving thought leads to setting a firm boundary or walking away from a situation that is toxic. But the source of that action is still love rather than malice. When your thinking is aligned with love, your presence starts to become a healing one. You don't have to be perfect at this. You don't have to have a perfectly quiet mind. You just need to notice when you have drifted away from that center.
There is a specific piece of wisdom we wanted to share today. It is a text that serves as a touchstone for this entire philosophy. It is called Time, and while many people may know it through the performance by Sir Laurence Olivier, the words themselves carry a weight that demands we slow down.
They do. This piece is a treasure. It uses the concept of time to actually talk about the human mind and the responsibility we carry. I would like to share those words with you now. Let's listen to Sir Laurence Olivier as he shares the key to a mind in harmony.
Stand before me on the sign of infinity, all you of the earth. With the granting of the law of provenation comes the application of change. I will give you the key. And with this knowledge, please realize, comes the responsibility of sharing it. I will show you the way. It's very simple. Throughout the universe, there is order in the movement of the planets, in nature, and in the functioning of the human mind. A mind that is in its natural state of order is in harmony with the universe, and such a mind is timeless. Your life is an expression of your mind. You are a creator of your own universe. For as a human being, you are free to will whatever state of being you desire through the use of your thoughts and words. There is great power there. Can be a blessing or a curse. It's entirely up to you. For the quality of your life is brought about by the quality of your thinking. Think about that. Thoughts produce actions. Look at what you are thinking. See the pettiness and the envy and the greed and the fear and all the other attitudes that cause you pain and discomfort. Realize that the one thing you have absolute control over is your attitude. See the effect that it has on those around you. For each life is linked to all life, and your words carry with them chain reactions, like a stone that is thrown into a pond. If your thinking is in order, your words will flow directly from the heart, creating ripples of love. If you truly want to change your world, my friends, you must change your thinking. Reason is your greatest tool. It creates an atmosphere of understanding, which leads to caring, which is love. Choose your words with care. Go forth with love.
Hearing those words, especially the line about being the creator of your own universe, is quite staggering. It places the power of our entire experience right back into our own hands. It suggests that our internal order is what allows us to be in harmony with the rest of existence.
It really does, Jesse. The poem highlights that reason and understanding are the bridges to love. It reminds us that our words and thoughts are like stones thrown into a pond. We often forget about the ripples. We think our private thoughts don't matter because no one hears them, but they set the tone for how we show up. They dictate the energy we bring into a room and the way we interpret the actions of others.
The poem also mentions that the one thing we have absolute control over is our attitude. In a world where so much feels out of our control, that is both a relief and a challenge. It means we can't blame our unhappiness on external factors forever.
That is the rebel part of this path. It is a refusal to be a victim. If you want to change the world, you have to start by changing the way you process the world. When you choose a thought rooted in love, you're performing a radical act of creation.
You often speak about practical ways to ground these big ideas. For someone listening who feels overwhelmed by the pettiness or envy mentioned in the poem, where do they actually start? How do they begin to create those ripples of love?
There is a very simple exercise that I call creating a ripple. It doesn't require any special equipment or even extra time. It only requires a moment of conscious intent. Today, I want you to take just one moment to consciously shift a thought. Think of someone in your life you might usually judge, or perhaps someone you find yourself avoiding. Instead of the usual thought, offer them a silent blessing. You might say to yourself, "May you find peace," or "May you be free from fear." You don't say this out loud. You don't need them to know you did it. You should not expect anything in return from them. This isn't actually about the other person at all. It is about training your own mind to think like love. When you make these small shifts frequently, you are rewiring your internal atmosphere.
I like that it's a silent practice. It removes the ego from the act. You're not doing it to be thanked or to be seen as a good person. You're doing it to change the quality of your own mind.
Exactly. Those small, quiet shifts are what eventually change everything. There's no secret formula or magic spell for happiness, but there are clues everywhere. One of the clearest clues is that where there is love, there is life, and there is hope. Happiness isn't always loud or dramatic. More often, it's the quiet, grounded kind of happiness that just lets you breathe a little easier. It's the feeling of being at peace with yourself because you know you're choosing grace over grievance.
It really comes down to the spaces we choose to fill. We can fill them with the noise of the world, or we can fill them with the intentionality of our own hearts. For those who want to experience the poem we shared in a deeper way, the Happiness Hippie team has a video on YouTube of the original narration. It is titled Time by Sir Laurence Olivier and is designed to let the words breathe. I highly recommend finding a quiet spot, putting on some headphones, and just letting that message land.
Indeed, listening to it again helps move the words from the head down into the heart.
I'm reflecting on the idea that our words and thoughts carry chain reactions. It makes me want to be much more careful with the stones I throw into my own pond today. If you are looking for a place to begin your own journey inward, or if you need a guide to help you find that natural state of order we talked about, please visit the Start Here page at happinesshippie.com. It is designed to help you take those first steps toward a more mindful and loving way of being. Thank you for walking with us today. Trust the process, make some space, and we'll talk again soon.